Okay, you're recording.
Okay, very good. All right, so what we are going to be talking about today is going to be blogging. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you kind of the technical side in the back office of mykw.kw.com, how to go in and set up your blogs to show. And then we're going to go in and we're going to talk about what are the topics that you need to blog about. Because you've heard for many, many years that you should be blogging. And if you're like pretty much every agent across the country that I train on, when I mention blogging, they kind of burp up their lunch a little bit. They're like, oh, I don't want to do it. It's too much effort. I have to log in somewhere else to do it. I don't know what to say. So we're going to hopefully solve all those issues for you today. And Playster has helped to do that. And Keller Williams has helped to do that, especially with number one of having to log into a different site. I got to jump over here. Got to do this. Got to do that. Now all you have to do is come over into your KW Playster website, log into it, which is what I'm doing right here, and give it a second for it to load here. You can go into the View Details option, or you can just come over here and click on your name. And a little side note, by the way, if you haven't been into Playster in the last week or so, they've now added in autoresponders to where you guys can customize the forms. I'll show you where that's located real quick as a side note here. So I'm just going to go into the back office of the site. And your autoresponders are going to be located here under Plans. And you can hit the plus sign, and you can see all the different autoresponders. And you can set them up, and they'll walk you through exactly what to do and how to do it. But if I come back over, go into the back office, you see right here where it says Blog Post. So if I go in and I click on Blog Post, you will see that there's already some post in there. Playster feeds your blog, all of you, with the same blog post in the beginning. So it's not empty, which is good. The bad part of it is everybody has the same blog. It doesn't really help you. You could go in and edit what's there. You could go in and remove what's there. Or if you just hit the plus sign, you could go in and add a new one. Your title, your content, which is where you type in your text. You can also then highlight anything and hyperlink it. You can add an image. You can put a video in. You can pretty much do anything that you want. You come down. You want to highlight an excerpt. Maybe it's a sentence or two of an important paragraph in the blog. Then you can put it in there. You want to have a featured image, which is going to be what draws the eyes to that blog. You're going to plug that in there, so that make sure that's a very visual image, something that's going to capture my attention. And then definitely come down and do your SEO, meta title, and your meta description. And the best way to think about meta title, I think we covered this in some of the previous courses, but meta title is the cover of the book. So tell Google about the book. Tell Google about this blog. Use keywords. Use Colorado Springs real estate if it's relatable to that, but definitely use some keywords. It's more of a phrase than a sentence, so you want to do it for about 50 to 60 characters. Your meta description is more of a 1 to 2 sentence run-on sentence. So be very wordy and very descriptive in about 1 to 2 sentences. Don't say, stuff over here by me for this area, because Google's going to go, what? I mean, you want to be very descriptive. Mention Colorado Springs in your description. You can mention your name, Keller Williams Realty in there, but definitely use some keywords. So that's how you would go in and do a blog post. Now, a question that comes up a lot is, well, how often should I do this? There's some out there that are killing it with blog posts because they're going in and doing daily posts and weekly posts. I have a different mindset. I'm going to show you kind of the method to the madness behind that. It's not really about the summer balloon festival. It's not really about the parties and events and things like that are citywide. It's more about community information. It's more about the actual neighborhood, about the schools. Those are going to be long-legged posts. You can create a post today, and it's still going to be vital 2, 3, 4 years later. And so there's a process that I'm going to walk you through in this session that's going to help you with that. So I don't think it's necessarily about the fun events. I'm not saying you can't blog about those, but you really want to think about what do consumers want to know about Colorado Springs real estate. They want to know about the schools. They want to know about the real estate because they're thinking about moving there. And so that's what's going to matter the most, and that's what's going to come up when people start to do blog searches. And they're not necessarily searching for your blog. They're searching for keywords. And if you happen to mention a certain neighborhood in Colorado Springs and they Google search that, there's a great chance you're going to be coming up on that. So that's kind of the process. So if you can do one community blog post a week, after a month you got 4, then after 12 months you got 48. I mean, that's power. That's power. So if you can commit to doing one blog post a week, I think that's going to be very beneficial to you. And I'm going to show you some templates that are going to make that as easy as possible for you. So you would go in and you would create these blogs. And when I create the blogs, they will show up in a couple different spots. And one of the spots they'll show up on is at the very bottom of your site. They'll be right here. And this is just my training site, so that's why my blogs are a little bit older. I'm not updating this one. But the newest one's going to be right here, and then they're going to go clockwise, falling off the page. Now, what you can do is you can go up, create your blogs like we've been doing, go to Pages, +, and what you can do here is you can create a blog post index, which is basically like a table of contents. DFW blogs, meta title, meta description, hit save. Now that I've added a new page, it's going to say, hey, would you like to add this to the menu? Yeah, that's a great idea. Let me add that to the menu. And now I'm going to have DFW blogs sitting right here on the menu. So when I save and I refresh, I got DFW blogs sitting right up here. And when I click on it, it's going to showcase all of my blog posts. So the blogs can be found a couple different ways. And what you're basically seeing right here is an online book. When you get Playster, you have an online pamphlet. But as you start to add new pages, as you start to add new blogs to your site, the book or the pamphlet grows into a book, and then it becomes Moby Dick, War and Peace. That's what you want. You want pages upon pages upon pages that are out there, because that's what's going to help you to be found on the search engines. People are not necessarily going to find your homepage. They're going to find you're dealing with financing blog post, because that's what they've been talking about. That's what they've been looking for. And they're going to land on this page on your website. They're going to like this information, and then they're going to come over here to maybe listing search, contact you, do whatever the case may be. That's why you blog. It's an opportunity to put more fishing lines in the water to catch those fish versus them just going to your homepage. They could find you on all these different pages. Does that concept so far make sense to everybody? Is there any questions?
We do have a question here.
Go ahead.
When he added a blog post in that screen where he said you can insert a video, can you record directly from that site, or do you have to record a video and then insert it as a link?
Okay, good question. You're going to have to, when I come back over here to the blog post, you're not going to be able to record right there in the actual post. What it is when you hit insert video, you're going to get your video embed code or your YouTube Vimeo link. So you're going to have it already recorded and loaded somewhere to where you can then pull the link over.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, good question. Any other questions on the process of blogging? We're going to talk about the topics here in a second, but the Playster process. Everybody okay?
I think we're okay.
Okay. So let's talk about how to find some content. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a free way to get some content, a couple of them actually. I'm going to show you a monthly cost. It's a minimal monthly cost where you can get some data that is being directed to you. And then the third option that I'm going to share with you is, hey, I don't want to blog. I just want somebody to do it for me and do it right, because I know that I need it, but I would rather jump out a 5-story building than blog. That's not what I want to do, right? It's not my 20%. So let's start with the free way. And one of the best ways to get data is to use Google Alerts. And if I go to Google Alerts, which is completely free, I just have to be logged into my Google account, which you can see in the top right-hand corner, my photo, which tells me I'm logged in. So you can use your KW login for Google. You can use your Gmail, whatever the case may be. But if I go to Google Alerts, I can set up an alert for any topic that I want to know about. And so one of the ones that I have set up is McKinney ISD, because I live in McKinney, Texas. Well, if I wanted to add McKinney, Texas on there, then I could do that. And so now, if I have this alert, it's going to tell me all the different things that are going on in McKinney. So here's what's happening. Here's what Google has found today. Now, there may not be any alerts for whatever phrase you put in today, and then tomorrow there may be 5. So that's something that I can go in and set up. And I have all these different ones that I have right here. And then what will happen is when I come over and I go to Google Alerts, this will show you all the emails. And they come in right here just like this. And I can then open this up, see what this article is all about. I can copy it. I can modify it. And then I could paste it into my blog. Don't just copy paste, because that doesn't do you any good. Copy, modify, and when I say modify, what I mean by that is go in and put your 2 cents on this. Maybe put your Colorado Springs spin on this article from Chris. Then I definitely cite the source. Don't write the article like you wrote it. I always cite the source where this came from. Housing Wire, written by whoever, blah, 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 right? And then I could come over and I could also share this on Google+, Facebook, Twitter. So there's a lot of options for me to use all of this information for Google+, or excuse me, for Google Alerts. I have all these different options that come in. And so this is a great opportunity to just have the data being fed to you on a daily basis. And I don't have to go out and search for any of this information. So one of the ones that I have set up is McKinney ISD and McKinney, Texas. Now, in North Texas, it's kind of crazy right now. We have 45,000 jobs that are moving into North Texas. Basically, we have half of California moving here because we have no state income tax, and we have offered these huge tax incentives to these corporations. So 2 miles from my office, Plano, Texas, the Toyota headquarters is moving in. That's 4,500 jobs. Right next door is Liberty Mutual. It's, I think, 4,000. USAA is moving in. They're 3,000. State Farm's already here, 7,500 jobs. I mean, there's these companies moving in just left and right. It's crazy. We have cranes everywhere. Well, these families are moving in, and they're looking for the best schools available. McKinney ISD is one of those ones that's on that list, but there's others. There's Allen, there's Frisco, and there's, of course, Plano. So they're looking at the amenities. They're looking at the items that their kids are going to be using, and they're making their decision of where they want to move. So that definitely impacts the real estate market. Well, I know the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl. Congratulations on that. I know you guys are football crazy up there, but I got news for you. Texas high school football, a little bit more crazy than Colorado high school football. Just saying, okay? And I used to do that for years. I was a coach for 6 years. I left that in 2001. But the school that I left is Allen ISD. Well, Allen ISD, which is a public high school, this is their football stadium.
Oh my goodness. Unbelievable.
This is a $65 million high school football stadium.
Wow.
This holds 20,000 people, has an indoor golf range, has closed circuit TV with instant replay. So when you're standing in line at the concession stands ordering your Chick-fil-A or Dickey's barbecue, because that's what they serve, they have flat screens in the menus so you don't miss the game. When you go to the bathroom, they got flat screens above the urinals so you don't miss anything. Well, you may miss something, but you're not going to miss the game, right? So it's everywhere. They didn't have this stadium when I was there. If they had that stadium when I was there, I don't know, I might still be coaching. I mean, this is like state of the art. What we had was this little tiny brown building right over here, and everybody kind of laughs at it until I tell them this. This is an $8 million indoor football field with a $1 million weight room in it that is too small now for the varsity, so the JV get the $1 million weight room and the varsity get the $2 million weight room inside the stadium. So we got Division I coaches that come in and they go, we can't recruit your kids. I'm like, why? And like, they don't want to step down to our facilities. You know, I mean, this is public high school. Now everybody goes, well, that's, you know, that's Texas, that's football, that's just stupid. Well, here's Allen ISD's Performing Arts Center. This is in the high school. This is their performing arts.
Oh my.
So if you're moving from California, I think you're probably looking at this school and the facilities that are being offered as a potential, right? So this is a blog topic. Now, I bet the Colorado Springs Airport terminal doesn't look anything like this. This is their cafeteria. At the high school. So you don't have to leave. It's like a city. Sophomore through high school, or sophomore through senior, there's 4,500 kids that go to that school. It's nuts.
It's like University of Boulder.
What's that?
It's like, where's the healthy food?
Yeah, there's no healthy food. Yeah, this is, it's a high school. Now, when I come back over and I look at this Google Alerts, here's something else too. So we're basically in an arms race in North Texas. So Allen ISD started the whole thing. Frisco is in an arms race. And so because they want people to move to Frisco, because the Toyota headquarters literally is 2 miles away from what I'm getting ready to show you. What Frisco ISD did is they went to Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys, and said, Jerry, if you move your training facilities to Frisco, we will then give you the land as long as you give our high school football team access to your domed training facility for Friday Night Lights. And he said, done deal.
Huh.
So they gave them the land. The high school gets to play in this dome starting in August. That's when it opens up. And what you're seeing right here is basically cowboy land. It's called the Star. And as you drive in, you've got restaurants, you've got shops, you've got nightclubs, you've got entertainment, you've got hotel. It's all Cowboys themed. And then right over here, this two-building look-alike structure right here, that is the country club. There's no golfing. There's no weightlifting. You basically pay an annual membership to watch practice on the grass fields. It's sold out in less than a day. That's how dumb Cowboy fans are, number one, right? And as I go through this and I look at this, Jerry can't field a team that can win some playoffs games, but he can definitely get into your wallet. And the thing about this is what Frisco is building. This is the centerpiece of a 1 square mile, $6 billion commercial investment in Frisco. That's your blog post. So you start thinking about what matters and happens in your areas. Now, in our areas in North Texas, that's what's happening. It's crazy. It's nuts. People freak out when I show them this. But I guarantee you, what you're seeing right here with the Frisco Stars, you're going to see Bronco land pretty soon. You're going to see, every NFL team is going to do something like this. The Packers are already building theirs. It's called Titletown. And so they're going to, you're going to see something that Denver's going to do. Now, I'm going to say two ugly words. I'm an Oakland Raiders fan, so Oakland Raiders, baby. Ours is going to be like a double-wide mobile home that we just move into the biker bar wherever we end up moving our team to. Vegas, Oakland, Tijuana, wherever we end up as a team. It's just going to be a big double-wide that we can pick up and move around. Who knows, right? But as we go down through all this, I live in McKinney. McKinney had to do something to catch up because our stadium was built in 1962, and it looked it. So we passed in May a $220 million school bond, and $65 million of that is a new stadium. So this is our new stadium that we're getting, and again, everybody freaks out going, that's ridiculous, that's so stupid. And so what happens is they announce this, everybody freaks out, $220 million school bond, and they're all for the school bond because it's more security, it's updated equipment and raises for the teachers. I mean, across the board, everybody's getting something. but they all freak out about the $65 million football stadium. It says 63 there, but it's actually 65. And what McKinney did is a week later, they said, oh yeah, by the way, we are a fiscally responsible school district. We are going to be ending 4 school bonds early, and from the amount of money that we're going to be saving off of that, if this passes, you're also going to get a 4-cent property tax reduction. And so all the critics shut up at that point. This is like Democrats and Republicans holding hands and singing Kumbaya. Both sides got something. And that's unheard of. We got lower taxes and brand new facilities. And so this is going to be built by the same company that built the Dallas Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, and it's going to be here in 2017. And what they also did is they made it a community event center. So what happens is that anything that's dealing with the city from an event point of view, offices, complexes, everything is going to be here. So it's not just a football stadium. It's like a centerpiece for the whole city. So that's what's happened in North Texas. That's what we talk about in our blog post, because people lose their mind. They're like, what? That's crazy. I can't believe that's happening. But that's why people are moving here, is because of the facilities that their kids can use. And it's not just athletics. It's all of it. It's the academics. So those are your blog posts. You talk about what's happening in your community. You talk about what's happening in your schools. And you set up Google Alerts to find all that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, something that I'm going to give you. It's on my website. And when I go out to michaeltritthart.com and I go right here to where it says Sites for Business, and I scroll down to lead capture and generation, there's a link right here that says community and blog templates. And what this is your cheat sheet. This is your guideline. Because now that I've kind of told you some of the things you can blog about, everybody goes, okay, I've got the topics, but I don't know how to structure it. I don't know what to do. So what I've got right here is a community page, and then I've got a blog post right here, and then I've got another blog post right here. And basically what you can do is you can use this as your guidelines, and all you have to do is just change everything in yellow. So I can come over here and I can hit File, Download As, and if I hit File, Download As Microsoft Word, then I can have this, and then all I got to do is just change everything in yellow, and that will be my blog post. Community and school data matters the most. And there's a lady in Alaska, and I think we've again mentioned her in some other classes, but she is Katrina Benton, comehomeanchorage.com, and on her neighborhoods page, she has done a blog post for every single community in Anchorage. I mean, this is like the longest page known to man. We're maybe 20% down, if that, on this page. And if I went all the way down this page, you would see that she has a blog post for every single one of her communities. And everybody goes, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. Why would I do that? Since 2009, in Anchorage, Alaska, she's generated over 150,000 online leads. She started off as a individual agent that sold like 4 homes in her first 2 years, committed to blogging in 2009, and then from that point on, now she has 10 teams across the United States, one of those being in Anchorage, 2 of them in Austin, and then 7 others, a couple in California, Phoenix, all over the place. And she now has a blogging team that they go out and write the blog post for Phoenix, for Anchorage, for Little Rock, and whenever the leads come in, her team works those leads. But in Anchorage alone, it's generated over 150,000 leads. Blogging matters when it comes to your search engine optimization. Nobody's going to go to this page. Nobody's going to go to her homepage. What they're doing is they're going to go out to Google and they're going to do a search for Anchor Park Neighborhood, Anchorage, Alaska, and then this blog post is coming up. And what you guys can do is mimic that with this right here. Basically, this is your blueprint. Just start cranking 1 a week. Boom, 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 boom. And then after a month, you got 4, and after a year, you got 48. You're off and running.
Michael, we had a question.
Yep. Go ahead.
What is her page called?
comehomeanchorage.com. And if you go to the neighborhoods page. Right here, comehomeanchorage.com. And if you just come up here to the very top and go to her neighborhoods page right here, then you'll see kind of what she's done.
And we have another question.
Where do you get that template?
Oh, could you?
My home page, which is michaeltritthart.com.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And then you're going to go to Sites for Business,
Sites for business. Okay.
Lead Capture and Generation. And then you're going to come down here to where it says Community and Blog Templates.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Now, staying on that same page, if we come down a little bit farther, so that's all the free things that you guys can do. Here's one that is a minimal monthly cost, but I think it might be worth looking into it. And what this is, I'm going to highlight it right here. Actually, I need to check my spelling there on automatic. I'll fix that here after the session. Just notice that. But on In Touch from Pat Zaby, what this is a program that will allow you to receive a weekly article, real estate related article from Pat Zaby's company. Now, some of you may know the name Pat Zaby, some of you may not. He's been training in the real estate world for years. He is very good friends with Mike Brody, Dick Dillingham. He lives here in the North Texas area. Met him many different times, spoke with him many different times on the phone. Very smart individual, has run companies for years that have helped agents with the marketing. And the In Touch program, what it is you pay basically $34, $35 a month, and you get 4 articles, one a week, one every Monday, with additional holiday cards as well. So 4th of July, Labor Day, things like that. And when the emails come in with one touch, you can push this out to your Facebook page, Twitter, LinkedIn, an email newsletter, whatever the case may be. But what you can also do is you can go in and you can take that article, copy it, modify it, and like I said earlier, just go in, maybe add 1 or 2 Colorado Springs relatable paragraphs to the front of it, and then paste it to your blog post. So if I don't want to necessarily go out and find my own data, I just want it being delivered to me at a minimal monthly cost, this is an option for me. And if you follow the steps that are on my website right there and use those links, then he'll waive the $100 setup fee, and then you get the first 30 days for free. So you can try it for free, see if it's something you like. If you don't like it, you can cancel. So the first option was completely free. This one from Pat is about $34, $35 a month.
We have a
It's
question.
a month-to-month contract. Go ahead.
When you are copying these and modifying, and you're putting it to your blog, you said you cite them, but are you putting all the verbiage and quotations to show that it's not your words, or?
So one of the ways you can do it is you can say, hey, here's an article below from Pat Zaby's In Touch company about financing in 2016. And I agree with the article somewhat. Here's what I agree about. Boom, 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 boom. Here's what I think actually you need to research a little bit more and understand further. And it's boom, 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 boom. So you don't have to like have the whole article there. You can just have a link to it. Or you could have the article below. But just reference. The key is reference where it came from. Don't try to steal the source. We actually have one agent in San Antonio, and you guys may have heard about this. This is a copyright issue, and it's not about blogging. It's about a photograph. He took a photograph of Tim Duncan, San Antonio Spurs center, who had just retired. It's a photograph that Tim took a couple years ago with a nationally known photographer, and he was holding a sign, and in the sign it was like a personal message that Tim was sharing with everybody. Well, this agent, which happens to be one of the San Antonio offices, Keller Williams offices, he took that picture and photoshopped his logo into the sign and then put it out on Facebook saying, hey, thanks, Tim, for the shout-out. Congratulations on your retirement. And we're like, oh, my gosh. That is like the dumbest thing that you could ever do. And so the next day, there's a lawsuit from Tim Duncan against that office and against that agent. And they're in process of figuring out what's going to happen. I mean, they haven't settled. They haven't gone to court yet. It just happened like 2 weeks ago. So you've got to be smart about this. Definitely cite your sources. don't just copy and paste and say, hey, look at my new article, because it will come back and bite you big time. All right? So here's the third option, and this is something coming from my design team, and we've been designing placed websites for many months now. We've been doing third-party websites for years, and I've got some designers that are very good at the design side, and I've got one who's also very good at blogging. And she's putting together a brand new beta program that we're offering, just now starting to offer to people. And what it is we know that a lot of agents know that they need to blog, but they just can't stand to blog. They don't want to do it. And so what she will do on a monthly basis, and it's a month-to-month contract, she'll basically, her and her design team that are the bloggers, they will write one community blog per week. So if there's a neighborhood in Colorado called, I don't know, I'm just making one up, called The Heights, then we're going to go in and we're going to basically write, using the templates that we have, we're going to basically write a community blog post about The Heights. So really all that the agent would need to give us is, hey, give us the name of the subdivision. We'll go out and do the research. We'll find some information about it. We'll find some photographs about it. We'll put all that together for you, and then we'll deliver you one community blog post a week, so 4 a month. Right now, in the beta, we're offering that price for $200, month-to-month contract. And if there's anybody in the room that's interested in being part of the beta and trying that out, then all you got to do is come to my homepage, hit this red button right here, fill in the form that comes up, and then we'll be in touch with details. So you guys can do it yourself. And I'm all about giving you the tools to do it yourself, or your IT genius that's on your team, or maybe you've got that 12-year-old IT genius sitting at home this summer going, I'm bored. You know, you can put them together and have them work on your blog post. There's high school kids, there's college kids that can write your blog post, but you know, when you do that, just it's buyer beware. You know, make sure you edit those blog posts before they post them. Otherwise it starts off saying, brah, gotta check this out. I mean, you're like, oh my goodness. Put that out there, you know, because it's in your name. It's in your name, so you definitely want to make sure that that they're doing a good job. But there's a lot of tools that are out there that are going to help you to find that. And one of the things that you guys can do if you are going to write your own, I've shown this before in some of the other classes. We'll do Google Images again. But Ruth or somebody in the room, give me a subdivision name for something in Colorado Springs, a neighborhood or subdivision.
Indigo Ranch.
Indigo Ranch.
So if I come over here and I do a search for Indigo Ranch, here's what happens. Here's what a lot of agents do. They do exactly what I just did on Google Images, and they go, oh, I like that photograph. Let me just grab that one. I'll use that on my blog post. If you do that, you're doing what that agent did with the Tim Duncan photo. And I know 6 other agents that have received cease and desist letters, and oh yeah, by the way, you owe me $6,000. And something that I just posted, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here about copyright, but it's huge. There was an agent, actually scratch that, not an agent, photographer, and from 1980 to 1990, she took thousands of photographs, right? She then takes those photographs and she gave them to the Library of Congress for free, and it's public access. Anybody could use these for free because it was her gift to America because she loved the country so much. Well, Getty Images, which is a pretty heavy-handed photo machine, like they're going to try to copyright everything. They took her images, put it on her site, photoshopped the Getty Images watermark on there, and then anybody who was trying to use her photos that were out there for free use, they were sending them an email saying, you're using a Getty watermarked photograph, you owe us money. Well, Getty made a mistake. They sent her an email like she was a client, and she got that email and she's like, what? And so they're in a legal entanglement right now, and she's suing Getty for $1 billion because of the amount of times that they've done it. I hope she wins, personally, because Getty is they're like the mafia, man. They get after you when it comes to the copyrights. And in this case, it wasn't even their photographs. And so here's why I'm mentioning this. Here's Indigo Ranch, Colorado Springs. You grab any of those, you could be in trouble. But if I come over here to where it says Search Tools, and I click it, and then I come down here to where it says Usage Rights, and I click it, labeled for reuse. And now any of these photographs I can use. But then you look at them and you go, well, they're not as good. That's why they're labeled for reuse. Right? They may or may not work for Indigo Ranch. You look at some of that going, oof, why is that even connected to Indigo Ranch? I have no idea. But for whatever reason, it was. But those are the ones that you can use. And another option is actually out on my website. I'll give you two more. If I go to where it says Sites for Business, Photo and Video, I have a lot of options here, and there's actually tons of free photo options on here, but I'm going to point out two links. And one of the links is this one right here that says Unsplash. And when I go to Unsplash, that's 50,000 photographs that are free for your use. And they're photographers that may or may not work for your area. But if I come up here and I hit Search Photos, and I type in Colorado, then here comes all the photos that I could use. And I could use those for free.
Could you just give us again the where to click on your site? That was a little bit fast.
Homepage, michaeltritthart.com.
Yep.
Sites for business.
Okay.
Photo and video. And that's going to bring you to this page right here.
Okay.
And the one I showed you was Unsplash right here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Now, on that same page, scroll up to the very, very top, and now you see the third link down. It says 40 sites for free stock photos. And when I click on 40 sites for free stock photos, Playster has done some heavy labor for you. They went out and found 40 sites that you probably have to, most of them you're going to have an account. Here's Unsplash right here. But you're going to have an account with them. But you can do it for free. And if I scroll down, I'm going to be able to find stock images that I can use. You just have to go to these different ones. And it's all underneath 40 sites for free stock photos. So with this training, you've got the steps on how, and of course, keep in mind we are recording this. You guys can watch it at a later date, but you've got the steps on how to add this to Playster. You've got the steps on how to go out and get free content for your blog post. You've got the steps on how to go out and get not video images, but photo images. You've got your templates for your downloads. You've got an option to pay a monthly fee, and then you've got an option to pay a little bit larger monthly fee, but not have to do anything other than just give the subdivision names over to my design team. Any questions on anything we've talked about so far today?
No questions.
Okay. I have one question. Does this take away the fear of blogging a little bit?
Yes.
Good. Good. Because it's always like, it's the fear of the unknown. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. Rule number one, think like a consumer. If I'm moving to a new area, what are the things that I need to know? And that's what you want to blog about.
Well, and I think, Michael, one of the things that you've made pretty obvious is by giving that template, we just have to fill in the blanks and focus on the detail, not the creative side of, blogging can be so wide ranged of what do I even write about? And many of us don't even like writing letters, much less writing a blog. So you just dumbed it down by allowing us to focus on what's most important to the consumer by giving us a template, which is about houses.
Yeah, I mean, think like a car manufacturer in the assembly line. I just gave you the assembly line. All you got to do is just follow the plan. and just crank them out. Boom, 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 boom. File save as, file save as, file save as, and just keep going.
No, it's very helpful.
Good. All right. Well, guys, that's all that I have today for blogging. So thanks for being on the call. And next month we'll have a different topic for you. Talk with Ruth before you guys leave today, and just ask her or share with her some of the topics that you guys need some help with. If it's Playster related, if it's something else, then we definitely can do that. But we want to make sure we're bringing something of value to every single one of you each month when we do these calls. Okay?
Michael, you know, I was thinking you were moving into something else, and so I didn't ask this question before, but within a blog, how do I embed a search for homes and create my search for Indigo as an example? How do I create that home search and put it into my blog so that it just automatically refreshes?
You got to create the community pages, which we can talk about in another call because it's a little bit longer.
Okay.
But you would have to, let's say that this is Indigo right here. I would basically create this page, and then I can copy the link right here.
Okay.
And when I go out and create my blog post, then I can paste search for Indigo homes. And if I highlight that, insert a link, there's my link.
Very good. Okay. That was simple.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to just, because I'm sure you're familiar, I think I even saw you in there, but I'm sure you're familiar with a blogging platform called Active Rain.
Yep.
And one of the things they really stress is the importance of long tail keywords, which you call them long-legged posts or something of that.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Um,
Because if you go in and blog about a listing, that's a short tail, and
Right.
it's going to go away.
right.
Long tail is, and long-legged, long tail, long form, however you want to phrase it, that's a blog post that's going to stay there for years because it's more community-based, neighborhood-based.
Right, and one of the things that they taught in Active Rain is that if a blog is repeated, if the same blog is repeated more than 4 times or something, it no longer counts for SEO because it's an obvious repeat. And so they would train to use spinners. How do you feel about a spinner?
You know, it's one of those things where you can use that, but I don't adhere to that mindset because if I'm going community-based, then that's all I need.
Right.
And quite honestly, I don't need, and I'm going to hurt Active Rain users' feelings, I don't need Active Rain anymore because I'm on Playster.
Okay.
The Keller Williams agents are on Playster.
Okay.
I have everything centralized in my domain name.
Doesn't Ben Kenny own Active Rain now?
Yeah, he bought it. He bought it for a pretty decent rate because it was kind of just sitting there, right? I mean, he was able to get it at a very cheap rate compared to what it was a couple years ago. But here's the thing about having a Playster blog and using a Playster website. This is my website. This is my buyer and seller site. This is my blog site. Every time I add a new page, this one happens to be dealing with financing. It's just adding more content
Right.
to my website. I'm building one massive indexable book versus one over here, one over there.
Right. Right. And again, it's more specific to communities where Active Rain is very open to generic kinds of
Right.
content.
So I'm not a big fan, and if I'm talking real estate, I'm not a big fan about the generic content because that's where everybody struggles. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to talk about. The one thing every single one of you in this room can talk about is communities. You better be able to, because you're going to run into people, and they're going to be in the elevator, and they're going to say, well, how's the market? And you're going to tell them, and they're going to say, well, what about like the west side of Colorado Springs? We're thinking about maybe buying a house over there or moving over there. How's that market? I mean, you got to, when you do your blog post, that's basically your elevator speech for each one of those neighborhoods, each one of those communities.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. Anything else from anyone? All right. Thank you so much for your time, Michael. I appreciate it.
No problem. You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.